3, 2, 1.
We are going to show you just what life is like for the three of us here in the vast expanse of outer space. Okay, one of the first things we'd like to do is provide you with the appropriate background music. So, hit it there, Fredo. Hello, world. That was supposed to be the theme to 2001 in honor of our Command Module Odyssey. But there seems to have been a last-minute change in the program.
When I go up there on 19, I'm going to take my entire collection of Johnny Cash along.
Hey, Marilyn.
Where's their broadcast?
All the networks dumped us. One of them said we made going to the moon about as exciting as taking a trip to Pittsburgh.
Our next broadcast will be from Frau Mora on the surface of the moon.
Oh, damn it. I think it would really help if you could just distract her when the heavy predictions come in.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
Thanks. Blanche, these nice young men are going to watch the television with you. This is Neil Armstrong, and this is Buzz Aldrin.
Hi.
Are you boys in the space program, too?
Give your oxygen tanks a stir.
What did you do?
Nothing. I stirred the tanks.
Whoa.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
This is the crew of Apollo 13, wishing everybody there a nice evening, and we're just about ready to close out our inspection of Aquarius and get back for a pleasant evening at Odyssey. Good night.
It was plagued by bad omens and bad luck from the very beginning.
We've got one more item for you when you get a chance. We'd like it to stir up your cryo tanks. In addition, I have Shaft and Trunnion
Okay.
for a look at the Comet Bennett if you need it.
Stand by. Hey, Houston, we've had a problem here.
Can say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Glenn was coming on with his team at that time, reading the log, preparing for handover.
By the time we got to handover, we knew full well that we had to take care of this thing in terms of an emergency. We were handling something that we knew was out of control. And in this case, every team that came on was dealing with a major set of problems.
I assume you've called in your backup beacons?
Flight, say again?
Have you called in your backup beacons now? See if we can get some more brain power in this
We
thing?
got one here.
Roger.
We had this loud bang, which kind of reverberated with a little echo, because the vehicles we're in were metal vehicles, and it was kind of like you're in a big barrel and they hit on the side with a sledgehammer kind of sound. In the tunnel area, some of the metal was actually crinkling, kind of like you take a Coke can and squeeze it, a little crinkling. So the two vehicles were moving not together, but a little asymmetric, I think, in roll, and that was causing that stress in the tunnel area.
I went down into the command module and saw that we had lost 2 of our 3 fuel cells, that they develop oxygen. I then looked out the window and saw escaping at a high rate of speed a gaseous oxygen, and it turned out that that oxygen that I was examining was from the second tank, because the explosion occurred on the damaged tank, but that also ruptured the second tank. The first tank just blew the entire side of the spacecraft off.
Here is a bulletin from ABC News. The Apollo 13 spacecraft has had a serious power supply malfunction that could cause the lunar landing mission to be terminated early.
At the moment, the astronauts are continuing to try to isolate their trouble. The late report says the spacecraft now is operating on battery power alone. All unnecessary equipment is being turned off.
When it really happens, like in this case, we didn't have to open any books to tell us what we had to deal with.
Tell me, you from Flight. Go ahead, Flight. I want you to get some guys figuring out minimum power in the LEM to sustain life.
This is Apollo Control at 57 hours 46 minutes ground elapsed time. The black team of flight controllers is now on station in Mission Control Center looking at possible alternate missions, as we have an apparent serious oxygen leak in the cryogenic oxygen in the service module. And now in the process of powering down the command module. Less than 15 minutes remaining of electrical power to the CSM.
The biggest things we had to do in the dying moments of the electrical system in the command module was to transfer the guidance system from the command module to the lunar module. And we only had about 15 minutes to do that, because if we didn't get the guidance system in the lunar module, that meant that we'd have to start all over again to try to get the lunar module guidance system up to speed.
The scheme of going across to the lunar module, still connected with the open tunnel, the lunar module would serve as a sort of lifeboat for the crew of Apollo 13.
And then we started turning on all things, the control systems. We were starting to talk out from the lunar module. And in fact, we were in the lunar module before the ground realized it, and suddenly realized that, oh, they're over there. And then, of course, what they had to say is, we're going to have to get you off the course you're in now to get you back on the free return course.
And this meant that we were no longer on a path that would allow us to be swung around the moon and come back towards the landing spot on the Earth. The controllability of the spacecraft was okay as long as we had our indicators up, because we had practiced that, as I had said. But suddenly, to save power, we shut that down for a while, and we had to control it by only looking at our computer display. And I had never tried that before. I really don't know who had, and it's a very difficult task. And we spent a lot of our first part of our emergency or survival time just learning how to control the spacecraft in this mode. The nominal flight time back home was 155 hours if we had done nothing else. But because consumables were critical, and the ground was calculating consumables, and Fred was also doing the back of the envelope type calculation, which he figured if we were lucky we had about 1 hour spare consumables left before we landed.
Okay, we ready, Jack.
I recall captain that went.
It was plagued by bad omens and bad luck from the very beginning.
So there you are, we pulled that off. So there you are, we pulled that off.
And kind of miraculously, since we had abused the vehicle, the mothership, by freezing it for 4 days, the water tanks were frozen when they recovered it on board the ship.
The water tanks were frozen when they recovered it on board the ship.
The water tanks were frozen when they recovered it on board the ship.